So, in case you didn't know, the FIFA U17 World Cup is happening this year. Oh, God. All right, back to my regularly self. I think I'm a stand. I'm sitting. So this is standing, and this is sitting. I'm standing. Not really. I'm sitting. Yo, I just realized this matches with my bed. I couldn't find it. Yeah. Anyways, but yes, the FIFA U17 World Cup is happening this year. It happens every other year. 2023, 21, 19, 17, yada yada. However, this year is the start of 5 consecutive annual U17 World Cup. Why? Because FIFA be FIFAing and they're trying to 100% ruin the game. As much as I thank FIFA for creating the concept of the World Cup, I dislike that they're what they're currently doing heavily. But in case you didn't know, kind of like I did, the FIFA U17 World Cup, FIFA World Cup, the men's, is happening this year. It is. Let me pull that back up. Oh, right. It's happening in Qatar. So Qatar, once again, is hosting a World Cup, and this is the first time um, that is happening there. Now, I was trying to read here, and I couldn't find if for the next 5 editions, so 25, 26, 27, 28, and 29, I couldn't find if Qatar is going to host for all 5 years from 2025 to 2029, um, or if it's just like one and then you know whatever. Now, here's something that I'm very confused about. As of this moment, okay, so let me tell you also this. This is how you know FIFA. I don't know what's going on with FIFA. I mean, I do know money is making their heads spin right round, baby, right round. And FIFA expanded the tournaments for the U17 from 24, not to 26, not to 28, not even to 30. If you think it was 32, you would be wrong because they expanded from 24 to 48. They doubled the numbers of nations that are going to be going to a U17 World Cup. I'm not a fan of it. The level is already low, or it's low, but it's on par because they're kids, they're boys. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't want to spend my time. You know. So so yeah, I wanted to take some time and talk about this upcoming World Cup because it's happening this year and it's going to be happening from November 3rd to November 27th. And not only that, but apparently the venue is only one stadium. 48 teams in one stadium. It's possible, but why? I don't. Again, I don't want to get into that. And anyways, it okay. I am gonna get into it because it amazes me the lengths that FIFA is trying to expand the World Cup, but not actually helping the sport grow. Instead, it's inviting individuals that have no business being at a World Cup or at the Club World Cup as we saw Bayern Munich thrash Auckland City or whatever the name is. I apologize. I just currently I can't. Well, actually, I can. So let me look up their name because I don't want to be seen as a. Oh, he could have just gone into the internet and looked them up, and he didn't. Like, yeah, yeah, okay. Bayern Munich versus. Yo, my. Okay. Apparently, I don't know what's going on with my internet either. It sucks right now. Yeah. Okay. Well, then I guess I can't look it up because my internet is. Okay, it was Auckland City, or however you pronounce it. 10-0. Either way, I am sorry for the long pause, but 10-0 by Bayern Munich to this one team who has semi-professionals. What is a team at a professional? Listen, I love it. I love it. I love seeing it. Semi-professional players that have other jobs that are actually paying for them because they don't actually get paid at that team, or at least not much. Love to see it. But they have no reason to be at this specific tournament, which is a professional tournament, given that it's created by FIFA. It makes no sense. So to me, expanding it, the World Cup, makes absolutely no sense when you're inviting other teams from other countries whose football level is nowhere near France, is nowhere near even Mexico's, is nowhere near Japan's. It it's not there. And like I get it. I want to see new teams at World Cups, but this just isn't it. It just isn't. And I realize that this video was supposed to be about the FIFA U17 World Cup, but I also have to implement this because now they've grown the numbers for the U17 World Cup. And I'm not a fan of it. I'm not. I'm not. Here. It's good. I would have liked if Auckland City was like an official FIFA tournament, but with teams around the world more equal to their level. All right, not this major tournament playing against professional, living, breathing people that eat, sleep, soccer, football, and then we get the results 10-0. I mean, yeah, congratulations, 10-0, but then where's the competition? At this point, it's not a competition. It's just, hey, welcome to the party. By the way, that guy's gonna slap you, and you're gonna get knocked out. Bye. Like, no, there needs to be competition. At least that's what I thought tournaments were supposed to be, where there's competition. I just, okay. Let me before I go even further. Okay, see the FIFA U20 World Cup in Chile 2025, which is happening from September 27 to October 19, only has 24. That I'm okay with. That I'm okay. What's the purpose of having 48 U17 bunch of teenagers going all the way to Qatar? Listen. Even if it wasn't in Qatar, even when it was in Germany, Mexico, United States, Brazil, Russia, anywhere in the world, let's be honest. Some of these players are not going to match up to what that 17-year-old growing up in Norway has been doing. It amazes me that I understand opening up opportunities, but this tournament should have been good. I may be wrong in this. I don't know. If I am wrong, I am wrong, and I will be willing to accept it. But at this point, it's too much. As I've said, I don't like the idea of having 48 teams at a World Cup. We already saw with 32 teams, Belgium whooping Panama, Hungary whooping El Salvador back in like 19 when the dinosaurs roamed. Obviously, that's a joke. It amazes me that it, why not just create a second tier division, kind of like the Euros, like you got the Champions League where like the best of the best go, and then there's like the uh, the expansion of the Champions League is also something that should not have happened. Um, I digress. There's so many ways that we can fix the whole expanding. I'm not a fan of expanding. I'm not. I'm gonna be honest. I am not. It makes no sense. Okay. I agree. Okay, listen. I am sorry. This video was supposed to be about the FIFA U17 World Cup, and I'll make another video of that. But I just need to finally get this off my chest. The disparity of skills and confederations, right? For example, New Zealand, right? New Zealand, even though they're a powerhouse over in OFC, they're nothing to the rest of the world. In all honesty, at least to the majority of the rest of the world. Perhaps they can beat Marshall Islands in the AFC, but to the rest of the world, New Zealand is oftenly coming up short. And that's not to say that they're not good. We have players from New Zealand who have played in top tier leveled teams and around the world. But it doesn't say much that while they're good in their region, they can't do much compared to the rest of the world. Right? Like the majority of the OFC nations are not going to beat even the lowest team in CONMEBOL, which right now is Chile. In the qualifiers, Chile is the lowest team. So, like, I don't see New Caledonia beating Chile. I don't see New Caledonia beating Venezuela if Venezuela goes to uh the confederation playoffs for the World Cup. I don't even see Bolivia if Bolivia takes that spot. I don't even see New Caledonia beating Bolivia. That's the point that I'm trying to make. And that's the same thing for this. Listen, I agree. New Zealand for being the top team over there, they've earned it. I get that. They've earned it. They've earned it. But one team is enough. Given that New Zealand is essentially the powerhouse of that place, because every other nation really is semi-professional, we really we expanded OFC's level of entry from one, which was always going to go to New Zealand, to 0.5 to 1.5 to for a second team from OFC to possibly qualify, but they're not. It's going to be the same story as the majority of the times that OFC had when they had zero point 0.5 chances of going to the World Cup when we had 32 teams, right? New Zealand would always get that 0.5. They would go to the Confederations playoffs, and they will ultimately lose to, I believe it was Mexico in 2014. It was Paraguay, or no, not Paraguay. It was Peru in 2018, and then it was I don't even let's see New Zealand. Let me pull up New Zealand because now that I'm in this mindset, I wanna I wanna speak about this. Listen, New Zealand, New Zealand. National uh, football team. Okay. Okay. I'm pulling up the receipts. I'm pulling up the receipts. Okay. All right. So they haven't qualified New Zealand. New I don't know when my thing turned off. So, and I'm not going to look back to see where things, muted. So I'll just end with this. I'll just end with this. The FIFA World Cup and any World Cup, if you want to expand or leave things that should the I think the big number should have been and should always be 32. I genuinely believe 32 was like the perfect amount of teams because you already have teams that 100% are contenders to win the World Cup, the dark horses, the ones that are going to be a thorn on the side to the bigger teams, the ones that are going to be fighting to, show that their football has grown, the ones that want to be that are underestimated and they're going to do something, and then the ones that are just there to take pictures and just have fun. That is literally what we've had for the past couple of World Cups. Always. And now you say, well, if even if we expand or go to 24 teams and go back, there's 16 teams, it's always going to be the same. There's always going to be that uh, disparity. And I would say that's where you're wrong. Because a Japan versus Spain came out different than a South Korea versus Brazil. Oh, but you could never know who's actually going to get destroyed. I mean, look at Switzerland against Portugal. Again, to me, Switzerland had no business being at the World Cup, in all honesty. But I mean, they qualified there, yes. But that's the thing too. Is like I know what I'm saying here. Some things are like that. I get that point, and other things are like, nah, you're wrong. I get that. But since this is something that can just be opinionated, and you can be like, nah, that is dumb. I get that. But even then, that's why I say 32 was okay. Because now we're opening up the door for a Bayern Munich versus Auckland at a World Cup. We're opening up a Spain versus, I don't know, who's currently like qualifying to a World Cup. That is like, okay, let me pull up receipts again. Let me pull up receipts again. The World Cup, the World Cup, the World Cup. Okay, then let me go to the qualifiers. Okay, so New Caledonia. Okay, so New Caledonia is going to the interconferential process. Okay, currently we might have an Indonesia versus Spain. We might have a Iraq versus Spain. We might have a United Arab Emirates versus France. We might get a Rwanda. We might get a Gabon. We might get Mozambique. Yeah, for example, right now, Gabon, Cameroon, Senegal, and Namibia are all in the top four to qualify. No, estoy grabando. We might get a El Salvador or Curacao against Spain. We may we might get Venezuela or Bolivia against France, England, Croatia, and these are games that, to me, shouldn't be at the World Cup. They shouldn't. And in all honesty, they shouldn't. Right now, if it was the old styled one, Paraguay, I think, or Colombia, I don't remember, it was 5 or 6. I think it was Paraguay. Paraguay would be in fifth place, and they would be going to the intercontinental into the interconfederation playoffs. That I understand, but we're getting a Colombia that is also kind of there close, and then Venezuela, 18 points, and Bolivia 17. It's those things that like they don't have anything to do there. They're out of 10 teams, they're seventh place, and they have a chance to qualify. And if they do, they're at the World Cup. But it's also kind of like, you know, it's I don't know. It's I've already spent too much time on this, and I'm sorry. This video was supposed to be about the FIFA U17, and I will do that video, but I felt like I just needed to get that off my chest. If I'm wrong, tell me what I'm seeing wrong. Correct me. Don't just say you're stupid and you don't know what you're talking about. What don't I know? It's not my you're dumb. Okay, that doesn't help me. You know, help me. At 32 was like the perfect fit. It genuinely was because because even if New Zealand's football is growing, France's football is growing too. England is growing as well. Mexico, Japan's is growing. Costa Rica is going up and down. Japan right now is at an up after they've been down for a while. Will they stay there? I don't know. South Korea qualified to. They had that one quarterfinal or semifinal finish through controversial but they've always been seen as a top team, as a team that could, spell some disasters or, really mess you up. But that's about it. Their football has grown, but they still haven't been able to outdo Brazil. They haven't been able to outdo Uruguay, you know? And it's like, oh, but they beat Portugal. Let's be honest. Portugal was probably like, we're already through. It's fine if they beat us. They're not going to take our first spot. Like, in all honesty, let's all be honest. Like, let me be honest. Like, that can happen if, and you can be like, oh well, that's not professional. It happens. If I'm going out and I don't want to risk myself from losing out on the round of 16, even though we already qualified and we're going to end up with first place no matter what, I'm not going to go out there and push and, I want to, want to beat every single team. And I would do, not everyone. So I would go out there and, like, I don't care if we're already, like, qualified. I want to go out there and I want to win. I want to do this. I would do that. I don't know about them. I can't speak about them. Okay. And you see that difference. Portugal lost to South Korea, and then they go and defeat Switzerland the way that they did. And then they lose to Morocco the way that they did. You see what I'm saying? like, and I understand that not everything that's always on paper will transpire to the field. That I understand. But let's also have some realistic standards. I am Mexican American. The way that football is for United States and for Mexico, I do not expect them to win the World Cup. If they do, it's welcome surprise. But let's all be honest, even those from, from like people that think logically, United States and Mexico are not going to win this World Cup. They're just not. Japan, they could qualify to like round of 16 and quarterfinals, maybe. But the majority of us don't see. And you could be like, well, nobody thought Morocco was going to get this far. Yeah, one team out of 32 teams. What happened to Qatar? We all said Qatar was going to end up with 0 points, and they did. Canada, we said, oh, they could possibly, do this after coming back from the World Cup, or some would say, like, I don't see them going through. They didn't. Wales, we didn't expect much from Wales either. We thought, oh, England and and then Wales and United States and then Iran. It ended up being England, United States, Iran, and then Wales. That's like it's, when we do realistic things, and even when Argentina lost to um, Saudi Arabia, those that know football and have watched the World Cup know that things can change drastically. Spain lost their first match and ended up winning the World Cup, so we knew this was a wake up moment for Argentina, and it was, and it was. And even they said, like, I would have preferred losing this first match than losing any other game down the road. And that's what happened. They ended up winning. We said France could go for the next, for going back to back. And they were in the final, and they were one shot away from doing it. They were one shot away, and then El, El Dibu's leg blocked the shot. So while we may get things wrong, we will get things right. And that's the duality of soccer. That's the duality of soccer that we have to think about. So while I say, congratulations to Uzbekistan and Jordan that qualified the first time, logic says they're not winning the World Cup. In fact, depending on their group that they end up, they might end up in fourth place with 0 points. Might. They could get one. They could get three if they beat the team in third place. But that's just it. I'm not saying that they cannot come in here because they're just gonna get destroyed everywhere. No, I'm just saying these teams would not have qualified if the expansion wasn't the way that it expanded. In all honesty, because Uzbekistan and Jordan qualified by being second place in their group, respectively, in their own group. So I I'm ranting, and the more that I rant, I'm starting to go down a rabbit hole, and I'm trying to pull myself back up. Think logically, not emotionally. And I'm sorry to let out all my emotions there. It's just, I love international football games when it involves national teams. That's why I created this channel, or at least that's what this channel has become now, because that's what I wanted to do. But more teams does not equal better quality. If we want to give those other teams a chance, create a World Cup B, or call it the Confederations Cup, and then it's be like the second division. That could work. I mean, look how popular the Europa is. But I don't know. That's a whole other discussion. I All right, so I'm gonna end this video because I already talked too much. And yeah, and I'll do the U17 World Cup video after this. I need to take a breather because anyways, God bless.